As an eBay seller, you need to know there are two types of book buyers. You have a group of buyers who just want to read a story or learn something out of a particular book. You've got other book buyers who are collectors. They're who pay up in price. They're who are very picky about books. Think about Funko Pop collectors on steroids. That's a book collector. The condition is everything. They don't want writing in their book. They don't want tears. They don't want fading. They don't want missing dust jackets. Dust jackets are a huge part of the value. If you have a hardcover without the jacket and it's a collectible book, say a first edition Tom Sawyer, well, that dust jacket is going to make thousands of dollars of difference if it is there or not. Now, for readers, they just want a current paperback copy of Tom Sawyer. They don't care about anything except they don't want to pay too much. Once in a while, a book reader will pay up for a book if the book is scarce, hard to find, a limited number made. Here in Oklahoma, we have a lot of Native Americans. There are a lot of books you find sales about Native Americans. And a lot of those had small, what we call print runs. There weren't many made. There might only be 1,000 copies of those books whenever they were first printed back in the 70s. 70s and 80s and 60s, that was a big time for books on Native Americans. The University of Oklahoma was a major publisher of Native American books, but very rarely would a book have more than 500 to 1,000 copies printed. You would never see a second printing or a second edition. It would be rare. Someone who just wants to read a book on Cherokee Indians around the Tahlequah, Oklahoma area, they may not find a book that is cheap. They may not find a modern book. They certainly probably won't find a paperback. They're going to have to pay up for that book. They're not a collector, but if they want the book badly enough, they learn soon that, well, I'm going to have to pay $20, $30, $40, maybe more if I just want to read the book. If I just want to buy a cheap book to read, but there aren't any, I'm fine with that. I'll pay up for it and then resell it. Most buyers don't have that mindset. The collectors do. Collectors are more familiar with the value of books. They will pay more if the book's in good condition. All of that is meant to introduce you to 5 facts about book selling that you need to know. First, almost always, books have a half title page and a full title page. We just call the title page a title page, not a full title page. And the half title page usually comes as soon as you open the book and then turn the first blank page. That first blank page, that's called an end page or end paper. You turn that blank page and you'll see the title of the book on a page. And that's the half title page. If you turn that, you will also see the title of the book on the next page, along with some copyright information with the publisher and the place it was published. That's the full title page or the title page. You should always take a picture of the title page, never the half title page. Collectors want that extra information as far as the publisher and the place published, because that gives them insights to the book. Is it genuine? Is it some cheap press run later? It doesn't guarantee them anything by itself, but collectors want to see the full title page. So always take a picture of that full title page, not the half, because they want that publisher and place of publication information. If you use Spadeberry to create listings, almost instantly, you just take pictures of the book and then it just writes up everything for you. And it's really an amazing piece of software. I did a video on it. I use it constantly. You'll quintuple the number of items you get listed every day if you use it. Sometimes a book might be old and worn and not extremely clear from the cover alone, the name of the book or who wrote it. You have to open it up and look at the title page. And I find Spadeberry, if you use it, and you should, Spadeberry will use your picture of the title page to guarantee that it gets the title and author and all of that correct. It's good to do. Let's move on to the next one. The number line. Books have an edition and a printing. Some books never have more than one of both. The very first time I wrote a book, way back when, back in the days of Moses, it was so exciting. And my editor called me and said, we just got it back from the printers and we're overnighting you a copy of your first book. I got that package the next day and opened it up, and there was my book with my name on it. And, smell the new book smell, and this is mine, picture on the back, all that stuff. Well, that was the first edition and first printing of my first book. Now, there's always a first edition, first printing of every book. It's the first time that they print the book. That's the first edition and first printing. My publisher wanted me to make a few minor changes to the text in places. Just change a couple of little things. They said, as soon as the first printing runs out, we're going to incorporate these changes into the second printing. So I had to approve 5 or 6 minor changes. And when that first printing sold out and the bookstores were going, we need more of these books, my publisher published a second printing of the book, and it had that updated text. This was not a second edition. Nothing significant changed. I didn't expand the book. I didn't add chapters. It's simply a second printing of a book. And the first edition can have 15 or 20 printings. In other words, they never add to or take away from the book itself. They just keep running out of books, and they might make a minor typo fix or something, but each printing just is a minor reprinting of the same book. So those are printings. If the author or if the publisher and author agree to expand a book and make a second edition, add information, that will be a second edition. And you'll see on the cover, it will say revised edition, stuff like that. Not always, but those are second editions. Third editions of books can come out if the book is expanded a third time. And each one of those will have a first, second, and third printing. So you can have a third edition, first printing of a book. Collectors want to know which edition and which printing it is. Now, sometimes it takes a book, Sherlock Holmes, to find what it is. this. It doesn't always say first edition, first printing. I wish it did, but 90% of all books published in the last 100 years have a number line that indicates the printing of the book. Almost all publishers all over the world now do a number line, but even in the 70s and 80s, not all non-USA publishers used a number line, but many of them did. So you'll find a book from the United Kingdom that was published in 1975, and it may not have a number line. It's too bad. It makes it hard to determine, is this a first printing or not, but you just have to do the best you can. If there is a number line, the lowest number will always be the printing. So in this number line, you see numbers that go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up, then that means it's a first printing of this book because 1 is the lowest number. The next time they did a printing of this book, if they did a second printing, they would wipe out that 1, erase it, and the next printing would start with just a 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So the lowest number will tell you the printing. You'll find books that have been in print for years that have 20, 30, 40 printings, and the lowest number will be like 47. That's possible. It's always good to state the printing when you can, in the condition and or the description, and in the title if it's a collectible book. So it's really nice if you have a signed boxed edition from 1966 and the number line shows it's a first printing. I would put first printing of that eBay listing because collectors really want the first printing of collectible books. Can a second or third or fifth printing of a book be valuable? Sure. A book that is scarce, they didn't print a lot of copies of each book at each print run. Still, a third printing might be pretty scarce these days, and a collector will pay up for that, but the collector really wants the first printing if at all possible. So far we've got half title page, full title page, also known as just title page. We know the lowest number on a number line, if a number line exists, is the printing of that book in most cases. Sometimes they'll do something weird like end it in a 0. What do you do then? But most of the time, it all works out and it ends in the lowest number. That is the printing of that book. Third, edition is not the same as printing. It's always good to state the edition if you can figure it out and find it. A lot of times it will say first edition. A lot of times it will say revised edition. Some books are in their third revision and they will actually have from the author preface to the first edition, preface to the second edition, and preface to the third edition in the same book at the front. And that lets you know it's the third edition of that book because the author has done 3 prefaces to 3 editions of that book. 4, and we're almost done. A book club edition is not considered good by collectors. Readers, they don't care. Collectors, they care. If it's a book club edition, it looks identical in almost every way to the actual first edition, first printing, hardback with dust jacket of that book, except instead of a price, whenever you open the cover in the upper right-hand corner of most book dust jacket flaps, there is a price, $24.95, $39.99, $8.99. There'll be a price of that hardcover book, the original price. If it's a book club edition, it almost will never have a price, and it will instead say book club edition there where the price is, or down below. The lower corner, it will say book club edition. Collectors don't like that. You can't advertise a book club edition as a first edition, first printing. Oh, you can. Readers won't really know or care. Collectors are going to know, and they're not going to like it. Now, they're not going to buy your book club edition. They're going to be able to tell and see that and know it's not a first printing. But in general, if you're buying a bunch of books at a sale, and a lot of them are book club editions, but unless you can buy several and just have a complete set that you can sell together as a lot, I wouldn't buy book club editions at any sale. Stay away from book club editions. Now, a lot of times whenever someone gives a book, they will damage it in 2 bad ways. They will snip the price off because they don't want the person they're giving the book to know how much the book costs. Well, they just damaged the gift that they're giving to the recipient. They just damaged the value of that book over time because it is not a pristine or original condition book. The price has been snipped off. We call that a clipped jacket or a clipped inside dust jacket flap. Collectors know they will not pay full price for a book that's been clipped, but they also are hesitant because that might have said book club edition that someone clipped off. So a collector cannot always tell by pictures if a book is an original book or a book club edition if that flap's been snipped. So in general, if the inside dust jacket flap has been cut, it makes it harder to get full value for that book if it's sort of a collectible book, because collectors are taking a chance buying the book from you. I can tell if a book is a book club edition just by lifting it. I know from the weight, I know from the paper, I know from everything, the touching of the book. I used to be a rare book collector. I can touch a book, pick it up, open the front cover, I know if it's a book club edition or not. That's all I need to know. Most people who understand books can do that with no problem, 100% accuracy. So if I get a book at a sale and it's 50 cents or $1, but it's a collectible book and it's not a book club edition, but the jacket's been snipped, I will go ahead and buy it because I know it's an actual original book, not a book club edition. You may or may not have the ability to know that yet. You may not have dealt with enough books to know the difference. So if you're at a sale and the jacket's been clipped, in general, I wouldn't buy that book if I were in your shoes unless it's a highly collectible book, and you just want to take a chance that might be a real book and not a book club. Finally, books that are ex libris books. Ex libris means ex-library books. You've seen them. They've got stickers all over them. Some library government official stamped the Tulsa County Library all over every page of this book. They glue envelopes inside the book. They put weird, clear, protective Mylar jackets, and they tape those jackets onto the actual book, just destroying the original book. Over time, tape yellows, and that yellow bleeds through to the book, and it's all a mess. Ex-libris books, ex-library books, any of you can spot them. You know what they look like. You feel like collectors hate those. Buyers who just want to read a book, they don't mind. They will buy the book. So if you find a book that's pretty collectible, but it's an ex-libris book, you're not going to get a lot of money for that book compared to the books just like it in the same condition that are not ex-library, that don't have stamped Tulsa County Library all over the book or envelopes and all that stuff. You're going to get a lot less money. Collectors will still buy that book and will still pay a little bit more than a book reader will pay for that book, even if it's ex-libris, but they would rather not. So in general, if you see ex-library books, do your comps, make sure they're in demand, and just don't expect to get nearly as much as everyone else selling that book, since yours is an ex-libris book, but you'll get something for it. It will sell. I'm always surprised at how much ex-libris books will go for if they're relatively scarce. So don't be afraid of them, as you should be afraid of book club editions, which are really worth zero to a collector's market. An ex-libris edition, it is the actual book. It's just been damaged by all of the ex-libris stuff, but it will have some value, especially if it's an ultra scarce book. Collectors will pay up for that book, or people who want to read it, they learn quickly. They just can't get that book for dirt cheap because it never came out in paperback. It was only that first print run, and so they will pay up for it even if it's an ex-libris. And that, my friends, are 5 big important facts you need to know about selling books. I promise you, you're going to sell more books and you're going to get fewer returns knowing the knowledge I just told you, because you're going to be able to state information more correctly, and you're going to buy fewer book club editions by accident